What if the most important Spur in 2026-27 isn't the guy the whole world watches every single night? What if it's not the reigning Depoy, not the $228 million point guard, not the rookie who just torched Oklahoma City in Game 7? What if the ceiling of this entire silver and black roster runs through a 20-year-old wing who most casual NBA fans still can't spell? Wembanyama just signed the biggest culture first extension in modern NBA history. And if he wants a real shot at his first ring this June, he needs Carter Bryant to jump, not next year, not the year after, this year. Let's break it down. What's up, Spurs chat fans? Welcome back to Spurs. Quick news, quick, sharp, and all about the silver and black. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a breakdown. And Spurs Nation, drop your city in the comments so we can see how deep this silver and black army really runs tonight. Here's where we stand heading into 2026-27, 62-20, last regular season. Western Conference champs. That's then a brutal 5-game finals loss to New York, where the final tape told an uncomfortable story. When Wembanyama sat, the whole thing bled out. Wemby averaged 25 points, 11.5 rebounds, and 3.1 blocks per game. Unanimous DPOY. First team All-NBA. This offseason, he signed a 5-year, $252 million extension that left roughly $50 million on the table, so the Spurs could keep building culture on record. But the moment he needed help on the wing in June, the numbers turned ugly. That De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper 3-guard lineup finished the finals with a net rating of negative 26.9. Negative 26.9 in the biggest series of their lives. Now every timeline screams about trading De'Aaron Fox, the Stephon Castle leap, Harper's rookie finals breakout. All fair, all real conversations, but nobody in the Spurs discourse is saying it loud enough. Carter Bryant might be the actual accelerant. The kid the Spurs' own Twitter posted this weekend, elevating so hard the caption literally read, quote, "Still trying to process how he got up for these. The kid GM Brian Wright tried to trade UP for on draft night." The kid, whose wingspan is almost 7 feet, and he's currently third on the small forward depth chart. That's the problem. Our Spurs Nation ready to admit Bryant might matter more than every trade rumor combined? Drop your take, because if yes, everything about this season shifts. Let's get into the tactical case, because the Bryant argument for Wembanyama comes in 2 layers, and if you miss either one, you miss the whole point. Layer 1 is defensive. Wemby's range as a rim protector is generational. His height, his length, his red on rotations, nobody in the league sees the floor from that vantage point. But even Wemby has a ceiling on how often he can single cover perimeter threats and still hunt weak side blocks. When opponents drag him out on switches, they're not just attacking him, they're pulling him away from the paint, which is where he wins games. Bryant fixes that. Wingspan, almost 7 feet. Explosive, physical, genuinely enjoys the fight. In the Western Conference Finals last spring, Mitch Johnson sent him at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at key stretches. Think about that. A rookie in a Game 4 blowout against the defending champs, drawing the MVP assignment. That's the level of trust the coaching staff already had in his tools. And Harrison Barnes, no small voice in that locker room, publicly called Bryant, quote, "one of our best defenders." That's a veteran anointing on record. Put Bryant next to Stephon Castle and Vassell on the wing, and suddenly Wemby doesn't have to leave the paint on every possession. He can roam, help, recover, hunt. And here's the part nobody's talking about. There's a specific 5-man Spurs lineup with Bryant on it that could break the league defensively. I'll get to it before the end. Stay with me. Layer 2 is offensive, but not in the way you'd expect. Bryant probably averages 8 or 10 points a night if he wins minutes next season. That's fine. That's the point, because if Wemby isn't spent from carrying the defense in the first 3 quarters, he has legs left in the fourth. He has legs in overtime. He has legs in Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals. Closing games is where finals are won and lost. And last June, the Spurs got outscored down the stretch by a Knicks team that had every right to be tired too. Wemby needed help holding up. Bryant is the help. Now, for the history lesson, because you can't do a Spurs script without one, Bruce Bowen never averaged double digits as a starter with Tim Duncan. Never scored 20 in a finals game. Didn't need to. Bowen locked down the perimeter, hit his corner threes, and let Duncan be Duncan. And the second Bowen wasn't on the floor. Everything cracked. That's the Bryant blueprint in 2026-27. Bryant doesn't need to be the story. He needs to be the reason Wembanyama has something left when the clock reads 3 minutes and the game is tied. If you're following me so far, hit that like button. It helps the channel keep these silver and black breakdowns going. Now let's talk about the roadblock standing between Bryant and this whole vision. And it's a name, the name is Keldon Johnson, because here's the roadblock in front of Carter Bryant right now. He's third on the small forward depth chart heading into training camp. Vassell is the projected starter. Keldon Johnson is the projected backup. Bryant is behind both of them, and Mitch Johnson has to balance a franchise cornerstone in the making. With two long-tenured silver and black staples who have earned their minutes, the front office side of this is fascinating. GM Brian Wright on draft night 2025 tried to trade UP to get Bryant. His exact words on record, quote, "I actually tried to make some moves to potentially go and get him. Let that sit." In an era where every front office hoards picks like gold, San Antonio was ready to give up assets to move higher for this specific kid. That's organizational conviction on the record. And here's another positive layer nobody flags loud enough. Bryant became just the third Arizona alum to reach the finals as a rookie in the modern era, joining Richard Jefferson in 2002 and Luke Walton in 2004. That's not developmental hype. That's a real early career line already on his resume. Now, the contract picture, Keldon Johnson is entering the final year of his deal, $17.5 million, and then he hits unrestricted free agency in 2027. Nobody around the league is confidently predicting the Spurs bring him back beyond next season. He carved out a legit 6-minute man of the year run last year, franchise record bench points, but the playoffs were rough. If Keldon isn't in the long-term plan, why block Bryant's minutes with him for 82 games? On the other hand, you don't just phase out a guy who bled for the franchise. There's a version where Mitch Johnson gives Bryant consistent bench minutes, ramps him up slowly, and by the second half of the season, Bryant is a rotation regular. There's another version where Keldon gets moved at the trade deadline for a role player or pick. Insiders keep whispering a specific name on the trade block. I'll get to it. Trust me, it matters. So here's the honest question for Spurs Nation. Would you rather trade up, meaning move Keldon at the deadline to clear runway for Bryant, or grow inside, meaning let Keldon finish his Spurs career with dignity and force Bryant to earn every minute the hard way? Both answers are defensible. Both answers change the season. Drop trade up or grow inside in the comments below. I'm reading every response. And keep watching, because what comes next is where the whole Wembanyama argument snaps into focus. On a scouting report on Bryant, no fluff. Two elite strengths. First, the athleticism is real. The Spurs' own social account posted footage of him elevating with the caption, "Still trying to process how he got up for these." Own team astonished, not manufactured buzz. Second, defensive intensity translates. In the playoffs, he guarded Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, and drew the SGA assignment against Oklahoma City. In his own words, quote, "I would love to guard 1 through 5. Eventually, that edge doesn't teach. Either you have it or you don't." Now the two vulnerabilities, this is where the leap has to happen. First, foul discipline. In Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, Bryant checked in to guard SGA in a blowout, and within 12 seconds, he fouled the free throw-prone MVP on a pump fake. Mitch Johnson went ballistic on the sideline. That's rotation guy versus closing lineup guy. Second, shot hesitation. The tape shows Bryant passing up open looks when the situation called for him to fire. 33% from 3 in the postseason, but on very limited attempts, which is the tell. When you hesitate on a rhythm 3, you disrupt the offense Wemby just created for you. Here's the positive counterweight most breakdowns miss. When Bryant let it fly, the ceiling was real. 17 points and 5 threes in a career-high game against Portland late in the regular season. He can hit, he just has to trust it. Elite tools meet raw execution. He's 20, supposed to be raw, but the ceiling is exactly why Wembanyama should be praying for the leap. Where do you land on Bryant? Elite 2-way starter in 3 years, or complimentary rotation piece forever? Drop your projection and hit that like if this breakdown is landing. Here's where the Bryant story pays off, or doesn't. Opening night is October 20th against Oklahoma City on NBC. Prime time, national audience. Mitch Johnson has to decide right there whether Bryant sees rotation minutes on night 1 or watches from the sideline while Vassell and Keldon eat those wing snaps. Watch the preseason closely. Watch how many second quarter minutes Bryant gets against real starters. Watch whether Mitch closes any preseason games with a Wemby and Bryant frontcourt look. Those signals matter. Remember the whisper I promised? Here's the payoff. The name insiders keep floating is Keldon Johnson himself, and the specific angle isn't a midseason disaster. It's a February deadline package. A contender needs a wing score. San Antonio needs to clear runway for Bryant. Expiring $17.5 million is exactly the kind of contract you can move for a role player in a second. Nobody's promising it happens, but everybody's whispering that if the right call comes from Cleveland or Denver, the Spurs won't hang up, and if that call comes, the entire Bryant timeline accelerates by 9 months. Wembanyama's own words after signing that extension. Quote, "Here to stay, whatever it takes," which means Bryant has to leap. Next episode, I'm going deep on the exact 5-man Spurs lineup with Bryant that could break the league defensively. It's the one I teased earlier. You'll want to be here for it. If this breakdown gave you something new, hit that. Share it with the Spurs fan in your life who still thinks Brian is just a garbage time guy, and subscribe if you're not already locked in with Spurs Nation. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss the lineup breakdown coming next episode. and comment trade up or grow inside below, and let me know exactly where you stand on the Keldon versus Bryant runway question. This is Spurs Quick News, and while the rest of the internet argues about Aaron Fox trades and Kevin Durant and fantasies, we'll keep our eyes on the kid who might actually raise the ceiling. Stay silver and black, stay sharp, peace.